in the beginning of the offseason, this Colts tackle room was very thin. Now there is a lot of potential in the room. It's still very inexperienced, but at least you have something in the room. You have some kind of depth, and that's very important. You have some competition, and I think it's really good having a lot of young guys in there because you're not only creating just an opportunity for young guys, but lots of competition for these young players to push and maybe get a starting spot on the left side on left tackle. But I think Bernhard Raimann has that locked down for now. It's his job to lose. Right tackle, it's Braden Smith's job. But we have the guys necessary to back them up if they get injured, which is very important. They will be competing for those jobs, and let's not waste too much more time. But if you like Colts football, NFL is football, ding dong. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. So it's not waste too much more time. We're going to start on the left tackle side. We're going to start at the bottom of the depth chart, work our way up. We'll do the right tackles after the left tackles. So let's start with Carter O'Donnell. He's never played a snap in the NFL. I'm using ESPN's depth chart for the records for my source. Carter O'Donnell never played a snap. I think he's a year in. I think he was actually in the NFL for 2 years now. He's been a practice squad guy. He's been kind of competition. So that's exactly what I expect out of him this offseason training camp, him to be competing and just adding some competition and depth in training camp. So then we have, he was actually listed as a guard in some other sites, like the NFL site and the PFF. Just wanted to add that in there because maybe the Colts moving the guard, but right now they have him at tackle on the depth chart on ESPN. So then you move up and you have Blake Freeland. So Blake Freeland, he's a young guy out of BYU. He's big, he's bulky, he's a behemoth. He's up here, man. He's huge. I think he's like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". I think he is 6'8". But he has a lot of experience playing left tackle at BYU. He started every year and he improved every year. Now, the thing is, as I mentioned, he's big, right? He's tall. He's towering. He's like a skyscraper. Thing is, sometimes that plays to your disadvantage when you're in the NFL on the offensive line. Really, in football in general, it can play to your disadvantage if you're a tackle, really an offensive lineman. Because nowadays it seems like a lot of the, defensive line talent, maybe, you have some linebackers are mainly edge rushers like Micah Parsons, TJ Watt. Some of them are smaller, but the two I just mentioned are actually bigger. But some of those defensive line guys and linebackers can be a little smaller, which makes it very difficult for tall tackles and tall offensive linemen like Blake Freeland to get leverage. And when you're that much bigger, you need to have a very strong core strength. He doesn't have that. From the film and a little bit of the snippets and stuff I've watched here and there, it seemed like he didn't really have the balance or the core strength to really hold his own versus some of the really strong guys that are shorter than him. And in general, he's probably going to struggle against power rushers early on. Now, he's very agile. He can move. He has some good athleticism. But I don't think he's ready to start left tackle yet. He has a high ceiling. And yeah, I'm looking at a notebook here. I'm not perfect. I can't remember all this stuff. I'm writing it down, do a little bit of research, writing it down so don't miss anything. But yeah, he does need to refine some technique. He's gonna have to refine some of that technique, when he's sliding so he doesn't lose balance, that kind of stuff. I did look on the NFL site a little bit for some strengths, weaknesses, and that's what I put together. So being a left tackle means you're gonna go up against more athletic and more fat and faster, stronger, just more all around defensive line talent, and some of those linebackers I mentioned early on. So he needs to really get that balance and that core strength up fast. He's going to be tested early if he plays. And then he did test really well in the combine. So he will need to get that core strength up so he doesn't get bullied. Now, if he's facing, more so of a speed rusher, a spinny guy, he's going to have to focus on the sliding with his feet, but I think he's going to fare better against them early on. So Blake Freeland, he has a high upside. There's also a good chance he doesn't work out as well. But I think he could be a very good depth guy for now. And this is going to move us to our current starting left tackle, He has a year in the books from Western Kentucky University. His name is Bernhard Raimann. So coming in, he's kind of like the opposite of Blake Freeland in a way. He's definitely got shorter arms. He's a little smaller, and that's the thing. It makes it a little easier to get the leverage. But having the shorter arms hurts because some of those defensive linemen have those long arms, and you just can't get your hands in there to get them up on their pads and push them up and push them away and keep them away. And he, last year he didn't start right away. Then, Chris Bauer, Frank Reich, they wanted to give Matt Pryor the shot because he looked really good at right tackle the year prior to last year. He looked very good. Braden Smith was hurt. He stepped in. He was very good. Just couldn't carry that same success over to 2022. He really struggled everywhere on the offense line. He was horrible at right tackle when Braden Smith got nicked up a little bit. And then right guard, he was absolutely horrible. He was just bad in general. He was not a very good player for the Colts last year. There is good reason why they didn't retain him. He was very below average. He was very bad. But when Bernhard Raimann stepped in, he was all right. No, don't lie to myself. Don't lie to ourselves. He was pretty bad when he first stepped in. But as the season went on, he got so much better. He was doing so much better by the end of the season. Him playing at the end of the season versus when he first started playing, insane. It's a huge jump. He was very good towards the end of last year and just as the season went on. So I'm expecting big things from him in year 2, and it is his job to lose. Now, if he gets hurt and Blake Freeland comes in and he just takes off, he's going to lose the job. He's probably going to be the backup, and maybe you could try and throw him at right guard. I don't think that's ideal, but you do need to look for a right guard. Will Fries did get better as the season went on last year. Not really the improvement like Bernhard Raimann showed at left tackle, but he got better and not really saying much because Danny Pinter started the year there. It was pretty bad. Just doesn't have the balance, can't get his hands in there. Danny Pinter is not a good right guard. He's a bit better of a depth center than a guard. He's horrible. I don't want to see him a right guard ever again. If I see him a right guard, I might have a heart attack. But like I said, as the season went on, Bernhard Raimann improved. Hopefully he has that big jump in year 2. Will he be elite? Probably not. He probably won't be that elite left tackle, top 5. But he's gonna be good. It seems like that he's gonna make a pretty big jump and he's gonna really figure it out in year 2 and just make that big jump. So if he does, we're kind of gonna backtrack a little bit to Blake Freeland. If he does, let's just put this hypothetical out there. He's not playing well. He's playing pretty bad. And let's just say that Blake Freeland's put in their left tackle. Blake Freeland's left tackle. But say Bernhard Raimann takes off and he is a definite left tackle. Blake Freeland may move over to right guard. I'd be willing to give him a shot. I know his core isn't as strong and stuff, so that's kind of an issue when you're moving to guard. You need to be strong because you're going to be going up against some pretty big guys in the middle, some pretty strong, bulky guys in the middle. You're going to have to get that core strong. You're going to have to really push, get it strong. Now, right tackle is a little different. I think he could be a very good right tackle, but Braden Smith has that down. So, but say Will Fries ain't playing good. Say Braden Smith is still playing a very high level right guard. Blake Freeland isn't working out at right. No. Braden Smith is playing really good at right tackle, but Blake Freeland's struggling at right guard as well. Switch them. Switch Braden Smith and Blake Freeland, and I think Blake Freeland can actually be a top 10 right tackle in the league. He's definitely got a lot of work to do to be a top 10 left tackle because they're a little different. They're different. And now it is different going from one side to the other as well. So that's something he would have to adjust to, and he would have to get his core stronger because those guys on the right side that the right tackle faces usually they're a little like bigger and stronger. They're not as fast, but I honestly think he may be the left tackle in the future, but I think Braden Smith will be a phenomenal right guard. That's where he actually started his career. He was switched to right tackle due to, I believe it was Matt Slauson at the time. Actually got hurt at right tackle. They moved Braden Smith out. Rest is history. I think he actually broke his back. It was pretty bad. But nonetheless, we have some depth on the left side, and some of it can be translated to the right. Speaking of the right side, Braden Smith, we're going to move to the right side. So, Matthew Vanderslice is the last guy. Couldn't find much on him. He's a rookie out of North Texas. Seemed like he had a few Offensive Guard of the Week awards. Out of high school, I think he was ranked. No, that's Jordan Murray, but Matthew Vanderslice. Maybe that was Jordan Murray. That was North Texas. No, yeah, Matthew Vanderslice was from the same college as Trevor Penning, I think, but I don't remember the name of it. It was like a purple gray, purple tannish, purple yellowish. But I don't expect him to make the roster. He's probably just gonna come in and provide some depth in training camp and stuff. So, but hey, I'm in for surprises. But then you have Jordan Murray, who is actually from North Texas. He was a UDFA. This is his second year. Didn't play it all last year. I don't think he really got the chance last year. I don't, like the chance as if he wasn't even on the roster type. So, his UDFA, not too much about him. He will bring competition to training camp body. He was the 124th ranked guard a couple of years ago when he was coming out of high school. He was a 2-star recruit according to 247 Sports. So not much, just more tackle depth. Then we move on to the guy that you do know pretty well. We just drafted, Jake Witt. He's from a very small school himself. He tested very well, very athletic. I think he can serve as solid depth. He won't be ready right away. So in college, he started college and I think he was tight end for 1 or 2 years. I think it was 2 years. Then midway through the second year, so 1.5 years, midway through the second or third year, I don't remember which year it was, but point is, he hasn't played it his entire career, but when he did switch, he was pretty good. He seemed like a natural at that small school. So him coming to the NFL, we're going to see if he could figure it out versus much greater competition. So I think Jake Witt, I think he could be a very good depth right tackle. Maybe someday he will be a good right tackle, but he's not going to be it for the Colts considering we have Braden Smith right there. Maybe if he gets hurt, Blake Freeland's on the left side, and you have some other injuries and stuff, that's when he's going to get the chance. And I'd like to see him because he is athletic in college, very high ceiling, tested very well. There's a lot to like about Jake Witt, and I'm happy that we have some high ceiling, some players that will either be really good starters or solid depth pieces. That is very important to have going into training camp, having that competition, that kind of stuff. So then, of course, you have the number one of the better right tackles in the league. He's very good. He's ranked very highly by PFF. Braden Smith. Originally, he was right guard. As I mentioned earlier, he was a right guard, and then some injuries happened. I think it was the last Andrew Luck year. Braden Smith stepped in a right tackle. The rest was history. He is phenomenal. Now he was very good those first 4 years, and those first years. Then he started to have some injury issues. It's seeming like he's getting injured a bit now. I mean, he's older. He's got the contract now. He's getting paid more money. You better find a way to stay healthy. It's just the NFL business thing. You got to find a way to stay healthy. He's very good when healthy. Otherwise, he's a great right tackle when he's not injured. Maybe he gets kicked into guard sometime in 23. Never count anything out. Something crazy could happen. Maybe there's a lot of injuries at right guard. Maybe Will Fries gets injured, and maybe Danny Pinner gets injured, and you have no choice but to put Braden Smith there, and then you have Blake Freeland playing the right side. Or maybe you just keep Jake Witt there and have him play the side. If there's so many different possibilities with this offense line next year, it's not even funny. So that's what kind of brings a lot of competition, a lot of excitement, a lot of interesting battles in training camp. So that's it for the tackle room. I want you guys to let me know what you think about the tackle room. I think we have a lot more depth. This tackle room, both tackle rooms are looking a lot better from last year. From the beginning of the offseason, absolutely too. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. If you enjoyed it, I think I just said make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on. But thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. Catch you later.